Hello guys, welcome to Forex SPV. Now, today we are going to have a quick recap on what happened last week. This is Audi card. We had a breakup block right on this point. We had the initial first leg here, and the second leg came and break the low that was formed here. So this here is a valid breakup block. And we had the Seiko coming to the blueberry here on the R1, and then price returned to the breaker and formed this good 3 hits to the bottom. So this was a very good peak formation low at this point, and it was a very good return to breaker reaction. So here we had an entry on Friday at this point, and the Audi index showed a very good strength of going long. So Audi pairs were expected to go long, and here we had another block at this point. Price return to the blue tracer. This is a natural support area, and we had a bullish order block where we had several reactions at this point, and our entry was valid at this point. Where price closed above the 200 EMA, and our target was this small quarter point here. So it was a few pips to take, but it had a very small risk and a greater reward, around 1:3. And this is Euro Audi. If you look at Euro Audi, we had a peak formation high on Friday, Monday, and price came down, and this was the end of the week. And at this point, we had a large courser transition on Wednesday. See, it started on Tuesday here where price broke the large quarter, and price came and bounced around the hesitation down. Here we also had the 200 EMA, and this bounce brought price back to the large quarter, and this was a retest to the large quarter, and this offered an entry to sell, and the target was here, this area where the blueberry was, and we had the station zone, and this dotted line indicates support area or resistance area based on a higher time frame. So according to my analysis, here we had the support area, and here we had the station zone where price formed a W. So this is a sign of strength that this is a sign of weakness that the station zone here is a very strong support area. So we had a successful completion of this large quarter. So this large quarter transition did not complete to 50 pips, and we had price return back to the large quarter point. And here we had like 3 levels going up. And when price reached this level, it went to this overshoot area. So 25 pips from this large quarter, and we had 3 hits on this large quarter here. And on Thursday, we had a very good downtrend. And also on Friday, we had a very good area for entry and a downtrend. So let's look on how price behaved from Monday going to Friday. So on Tuesday here, we had an entry. So on Monday, we had an entry, but this was a very early entry. It was around Asian session, and it wasn't valid timing for an entry for market maker traders. And on Tuesday here, we expected a safety trade, but the dealer offered stop hunt during the news, and this was a stop and row, and then we had a very good W around the blueberry, so this was also a very blueberry trade, and we had an entry there, and this provided very significant number of pips, and at this point here we had the ADR. I remember we had the ADR right there, the ADR for the day. And if we continue on the downtrend, we had, this was the third hit. We saw it on the hour one, so it was around Asian range, but once price broke this 50 EMA, it came back and retested, and price showed a significant downtrend. So this was an area for entry, and this was a very early entry. So some of us wouldn't pick this up. And on Friday here now we had a very valid entry. So we had a break on the blueberry, and then later on price came and retested. And around this area also all the EMAs showed a very significant downtrend. And we had the sessions on right there. So this was an area for entry, unit sessions, changeover, and we had a very good downtrend. And the Audi index was very strong, so Euro Audi was expected to go down. So if we shift to Eurocard, this is what happened to Eurocard. We had a break on this high. So we had this area as a strong resistance area, and price broke this. So this area was a liquidity pool area. And you can see there's only one candle up. So this was a stop rate, and price formed the name there, and we had now a downtrend. So the stop rate, then this was now a bearish order block. So price later on, the period separator here shows 1 week range. So for this last week, price opened and we had a false move up, and we hit this false move returned to this area of the order block. So this was a return to the order block. So this was a return to the order block, but also this was a very strong resistance area here. And if you look at this uptrend here, let me change color for this. If you look at this uptrend here, at this point, there was also a valid entry at this area to take it to this point here. So we had a valid entry going up. And on Monday, euros were very strong. So this was a valid entry to take a buy there. And this area, price bounced. You see a very good reaction for a downtrend, and went on to complete the ADR, but also this was also a large quarter transition, a successful one, because if you look at this, we have a large quarter point here, and price went all the way to the undershoot area. See, this M here was formed around the undershoot area. So this was a sign of weakness that this large quarter would not be broken, and eventually price will reverse, and therefore we expect price to reach this large quarter here. So let us go down to the 15 minutes time frame and look to several entries that are available. Here is where price returned to the order block. We had a valid entry at this point. Price was around the blue tracer and formed a pattern there. But also the next day, on Thursday, we had this M here. This M was around 50 EMA, and we had a small quarter point here. So this was around 100 pips range, and from this point comes into this large quarter point. Down here is 100 pips. So, and after price did break this blue tracer, we had a return to the blue tracer. So this was a retest, and the 50 EMA was there, and we had a very good reaction there. Had a very good downtrend. So this was a valid entry, which many of us would take it. And this is euro pound now. From Thursday, we had a possibility of a peak formation low, but price did not return to this low on Monday. And Tuesday we had a very good W here, and it offered a very valid entry. So this was an entry here for a W going up. And after the break of the blueberry, price returned back to this. The 200 EMA, we had a 50 and 200 crossover. So this was a blueberry trade and a safety trade at the same time. So we have another entry at this point. But on the next day, we had a retest on the blueberry, and we had a very good W. So this was a valid entry here. And this is Euro New Zealand. If you look at it, Monday going Tuesday, Euros were very strong. See, Tuesday, Wednesday also. Monday going Tuesday, going Wednesday. Also, we had another entry on Euro NZD. So we had a very good peak formation low. Price rose on Monday very quick. So we had an entry here, but it wasn't. It was very quick. Very few would have seen this, but this is a valid entry, very valid market breaker entry. We had Turtle Soup raid and the stop and roll, and after this stop and roll, we had a very good W. This W, the entry was valid at this point, and I remember we had the ADR hit during the FOMC meetings, I think. And on the next day, we had 50-50 bounce trade because if you look at this area, we had several EMAs combined together. So retail orders were available at this point, and the dealer grabbed enough liquidity for him to swing the market away very fast. That's why we only see 50-50 bounce until the cycle is complete. And GBP Audi, I remember I sent this on the channel. We expected for a large quarter transition after this break here. So on Monday, we had a retest on this large quarter point. A very good W was formed. And this W was also, we had a breaker block right here, and we had a return to the breaker block. So this was the first entry, and this was also the second entry at this point. And we had a very good uptrend. On the next day, we had Audi news at this time, and we had a stop and flow rise, and we had a 50-50 bounce trade. If you look at this area here, we have elements of EMA combo. And at this point, here was the entry after this valid W, after this stop and. And so we had the ADR was completed at this level, and this was the station zone here. So we missed 75 pips towards the large quarter point up there. So there was unsuccessful completion of this large quarter point. So price returned back to this large quarter. If you look at it this moment, if you go to your chart, you can see that price has returned to this area here, 1.8000. Now this is pound USD. This was Monday going Tuesday. So on Monday we had a false move up, but this was also a valid entry for a buy. Yes, this was a valid entry for a buy at this level here. And on Tuesday we had the dollar strong, but also the pounds were showing significant weakness, and price bounced around a large quarter point. We had the blue tracer here. We had a very good M. Just look at it, very good, very good, very good M. We had an entry there, price dropped. So from this point to this area, we had 50 pips. So if you entered here, this was a very 50 pips trade. And then we had an ID 50 trade here. From this point, again, we had 25, 25, 50 to 75 pips. And then price returned to the Mayo after 50 and 20 crossover. So this was a very safety trade. But if you see an railroad track, if you go to the 5 minutes chart, you simply see a very good M formed. And here we had an entry, and 50 pips were valid at this point. And then price again returned to form a W at this point and returned up. So that was GBP USD. This is USD Swiss franc. This white line here is an area where the cycle was complete, the previous cycle, the previous downtrend. And we had a very good W at the blue tracer. So they did apply the brakes on Monday, and on Tuesday we had a very good W at the blue tracer. So this was an entry here. And we had an uptrend. And here we had price did form the first W here. And it returned back, formed a very large W here. Even on R1, it was a very good W. But also during this point here, we had like 3 hits to the top during such a changeover. And on the next day, price came and bounced around the blue tracer. So this was a low test pattern here. Valid entry this one. We had 3 swipes to the high. So it was a valid entry and a few pips to grab at this area. And this was ZAO USD gold. Gold formed a very big M on the blueberry on the R1. So the 3200 EMA is the same as the blueberry on the R1. We had a very good M. And on the 15 minutes during New York's exchange changeover, which is usually the time where gold moves, we had an M there that was formed, and an entry was valid at this point, and we had a very good downtrend there. A significant number of pips were seen. So the ADR is around 332. So you have grabbed like 300 pips there. And on the next day, I expected for safety here, and it gave this entry, but we had like price was dropping very slowly, indicating that this is a sign of weakness. The momentum was very low. So those are a few entries that would have been taken on the last week. So thank you for listening. Until next time, have a good trading week on the coming week.